So I just want to share with you my simple, brilliant method of follow-up that I use just to get people to respond, because naturally when you're marketing yourself, you're sending emails, calls, whatever, especially emails, naturally what's going to happen is people will kind of just ignore you, right? And so you know that you have to follow up. As a salesperson, you got to follow up, right? The problem is, and this is what most people do, is they say things like, hey, I don't know if you got my last email, but... and then bam, they go on to it. Or they send another email that's very different than the first one. They say, like, let's say you're promoting, I don't know, let's say you're selling cameras or whatever. You're like, hey, I've got a camera that's going to be great for your business. It's camera XYZ, and I'd love to have a chat with you on the phone. When can you schedule a time to talk? They just ignore it, right? You're like, okay, I got to follow up. So you follow up with a different email. You're like, hey, I don't know if you got my last email, but you know, I mean, I got a camera. It's really great for you guys, and I'm here to do this and this and this for you. They don't respond. So you follow up again. You're like, you know, I noticed that in your business, you guys need cameras, and our camera is actually really good, and blah, 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 whatever. And so what would naturally happen is you'll just get a low response rate on those kinds of follow-ups. The highest response rate that I've ever gotten on my follow-ups is when I literally duplicate the first email that I send out. So I don't change the email, I duplicate it. So let's say the first email is, hey, I've got a camera for you guys, it's gonna be amazing for your business. I'd love to schedule a time to talk with you, right? The second email, the follow-up email, if they don't respond to me, I just say the exact same thing. I say, hey, I got a camera for you guys, it's gonna be great for your business. When would you like to schedule a time to talk? They don't respond again. I send the exact same email again. I'm like, hey, I got a camera for you guys, bam. And after that time, they almost always respond. Why? Why would they respond when I'm literally copying and pasting the same email over and over and over again? The reason is because it's a psychological standpoint. So when you send out different emails each time, they know that you know they're simply ignoring you. And so you're following up, you're going through the sales cycle. If on the other hand, you send the same email each and every time, what's gonna happen is they're gonna think, maybe he doesn't realize that I'm getting the emails, I'm just not responding to him, right? So what they're gonna think is like, let me just respond to this person real quick, that way they can get my answer. And so that's why sending that same email over and over and over again will get a much better response than changing your email templates. So it's a psychological standpoint. And so I started doing this, like, just with getting gigs in general, and just in general, I just started naturally sending the same email over and over and over again, and that just got a better response rate in terms of the follow-ups, just because they're thinking like, oh, well, maybe he's thinking that these emails aren't going through into my inbox, so that's why he's just sending it over and over and over again. Whereas if you do the first version, where you just kind of say like, hey, I don't know if you got my email, blah, blah, blah. If you do that, then they just simply won't respond, because they know that you know they're practically ignoring you. So that's why from now on, if you want to follow up, trust me on this one, just literally copy and paste the same one over and over and over again, and you're much more likely to get a response from that person.